हमारी फ़ोन कॉल्स लाइंस ओपन हैं 8558866387 एक्सटेंशन 4 हमारा नंबर है। आज हमारा पहला शो है। पहले शो में आज जो हम सब्जेक्ट डिस्कस कर रहे हैं फरजाना के सेगमेंट में वो है घरेलू तशद्दुद या डोमेस्टिक अब्यूज़ या डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस। हमारे साथ एक लोकल इदारा है एफडा, उसकी सीईओ मौजूद हैं। मैं फरजाना से कहूँगी कि आप मज़ीद तारुफ़ कराएँ अपने मेहमान का। So Farzana, over to you.
Today we have Sherry Kendall, AVDA की Aid Against Victims of Domestic Violence, CEO, हमसे join करिए. It's a non-profit organization, and thank you so much, Sherry, for taking the time to come join us today to talk about this non-talked about event, right? So
yes.
It happens in everybody's life, but it's so shied away from culturally. So we hope you can shed light to our community and that the resources are available.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
So before we move forward, I would like the viewers to know, I mean, what is domestic violence? What it is that is called, like, what it is that is included in the violence? Like, when something is happening to me, how would I know that should be called domestic violence?
And that is such an important question. So many people believe that domestic violence is only hitting, pushing, shoving, slapping, and they don't understand the importance or the impact. Tremendous damage is done by verbal abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse. So it's not just physical. And it is a pattern. It's not one event. It's a pattern of abuse that really seeks to control the other individual. And it doesn't always take physical violence to do that. Again, it can be just verbal.
Yeah. Oh.
So true. We usually think of women being victims of abuse. Can men also be victims?
Absolutely. Anyone can be a victim. Anyone can be a perpetrator. At AVDA, and AVDA stands for Aid to Victims of Domestic Abuse, we work with both the perpetrators and the victims. In our victim services program, we have about 10% of the victims are men. And in our perpetrator program, about 10% are women. So we every day we see that, yes, it can be either side. I think the important thing is for folks to know that there is help for everyone.
So just a question, men being the victim of abuse, what kind of abuse they suffer from women, if women?
It can be all the same types that a man could perpetrate against a woman. Certainly verbal abuse is something that happens frequently. I think if the goal of an individual is to hurt or control somebody else, the way they do it is determined by what tools they have.
Right.
So if I've got my voice, if I've got my words, I can hurt someone that way.
So it doesn't matter whether the victim is a male or a female, if it's hurting them.
Right.
And that's so sad because I think it's such a power of weakness rather than actual power. You know?
It's a very, very insightful comment because it is about feeling out of control and trying to have control or take control over someone else.
That's so true.
And I think we talk about men and women, but we also have to remember that oftentimes there are children in those homes watching, learning, listening, and they truly are learning these behaviors. We typically learn about abuse in childhood. So these children, whether it's mom or dad being abusive, they're learning how to either be a victim or how to be an offender, how to be an abuser.
Yeah. So for my viewers, before we move forward, जो बात हम कर रहे हैं वो ये है कि ख़वातीन हों या मर्द हों आपके घर में अगर कोई हाथ से, कोई ज़ुबान से किसी भी तरीके से आपको तकलीफ़ पहुंचाता है, ओके वो कैसे हुआ है उधर से? मैंने तो थर्ड लगाया था वो. Okay, sorry, they just had to stop. पता नहीं किसने चेंज किया ये. अब नेक्स्ट 2 लाइव लगे हुए बग्स आपके पास. They had some technical issue with the satellite, so they asked us to do it again.
Okay.
In 10 minutes.
Sorry.
That's
I'm so
okay.
sorry about that.
So should we come back in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're stuck, so we'll be
Oh, I'm stuck because I might.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can visit with us.
Well, it's an opportunity if you
More
want to get
photos.
some better shots.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was
that's fine.
going really well.
Okay. It was.
Yeah.
We can do it all over just
Yeah.
like that.
We'll be
You can
acting
feel the
pros.
passion
I'm
when
trying
you
to remember
talk
what I
about
said.
it.
This is actually my first time too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh
so-
gosh. Well, I think you're doing wonderfully.
Big smiles.
मुझे लगे इंटरव्यू
6 minutes to go now.
You want to get in the frame? I'll take a picture.
Oh no, thank you. There we go.
Great.
That was a nice conversation. I was about to tweet it.
Did you record that part? Have you recorded
Do I
it on
need
your phone?
I did
to
record it,
slow
actually.
down on or shorten my answers to give you the opportunity to translate? Or is it going okay?
Mostly people understand, but there are like a couple of, there's a section of ladies who are housewives, so I just want them to be included in this as well. So I would not be,
आपका माइक इस तरफ है, फेस आपका यहाँ होता है, आवाज नहीं आती अंदर। या माइक को इस तरफ
सेंटर में लगा लो,
मैं उसको
सेंटर में
माइक
लगा लो।
सेंटर कर दें,
ओके ठीक है.
है ना?
You want me to help you?
Yeah.
Because फिर आवाज नहीं जाती।
कुछ बोलो।
Hello.
अब मैं चेक कर रहा हूँ।
Okay, ठीक
ये
है.
देखना जो थोड़ा सा कमीज उखड़ी हुई है, but just say, I think it's
Okay, it's
perfectly
fine.
fitting.
Is that okay?
हाँ जी ठीक है.
Say something.
Can you hear me? Or I need to speak louder?
You need to speak louder actually.
Yeah,